Rocky, shh. Okay, that was awesome because we all know, like with those who shared their answers, you already know how to write down ratios. So ratios are written with a, what do you call this? A colon, right, in between. Now, each of these are what we call a term, right? So this we call a two-term ratio, right? For those who are bakers or who like to cook, they would have ingredients, and some of the ingredients you wouldn't have just two ingredients, right? Sometimes there would be more than two ingredients, say 3 ingredients, right? So you could have a ratio of my grandma's popular what do you call this, creme caramel. It's 3 to 1 to 1. That's a recipe for a really delicious dessert. What's 3 to 1 to 1? It's a creme caramel. It's very popular to Filipinos. It's called leche flan in Philippines. So that means it's 3 eggs, 1 cup milk, and 1 cup sugar. That's for the leche flan. Who knows what leche flan is? Anyone who's had it? Yummy, yummy. If you haven't had it, you're missing half of your life, I tell you. Okay. All right. So sometimes there would be more than 2 terms. So, but each of these would be called a term. All right. Let's have a look at this one here. Look at the completed game of knots and crosses. Who plays this during maths class? Put your hand up. Be honest. Okay, you will not get in trouble for now. All right, write the ratios of crosses to knots, write down on the chat. Okay, so it's 4 to 3, and then knots to unmarked spaces would be 3 to 2. All right, so rewrite the following segments as a ratio 7 millimeters to 1 centimeter. It needs to have the same unit. One is in millimeters and the other one is in centimeter. We need to put them into the same unit. So what do? Do we put them into millimeters or do we put them into centimeters? What would make sense?
Millimeters.
Millimeters. So that will end up with whole numbers, right? Centimeters instead. What do you think would happen? That becomes 0.7 centimeters, and that's still 1 centimeter. What's wrong when we're writing 0.7 to 1? We need to write it down into whole numbers, okay? So if in case we ended up with this one, that's not a problem. We just think of a way how we will be able to make 0.7 into a whole number. How? By multiplying. When we multiply one quantity to one term, that's the same number that we multiply the other term. Just like when we have fractions, whatever you multiply on top, you multiply on the bottom, because ratios are precisely just fractions, right? So if we multiply this by 10, that means that becomes 7. And when we have 1 times 10, that becomes 10. And we're back to our answer here. So it says here, the number of tries scored by 2 teams in a rugby match was in the ratio of 1 to 3. Right? Express the amount of tries the first team scored as a fraction of the whole number of tries scored. Maybe this is the first team, right? So the number of tries would be 1 to what? So it's very important that we write down the right ratio. So first team scored as a fraction of the whole number of tries scored. So it's 1 to 4 because the total tries would be 4. So it's 1 to 4, or you say it's 1 over 4, or you say it's a quarter. All right. And from here, just like what we said a while ago, you can write it down as a percentage as well, right? Or you can also write it down as a decimal. So when you have a percentage, you'd say 25%. Stay safe, everyone. See you on Friday. Bye. Come on, Rocky, let's go.